Tonight, we test if you really know football. 20 questions, getting harder after every single one. Most people can't get more than 15 correct. Are you one of those people? Keep track of your score and don't skip ahead, because the hardest question might just be in the middle. Let's find out. Let's start with the first question. Welcome back everyone to another Can You Answer video, where we're going to test your knowledge of football. Today, for the very first question, the easy question. I don't know if it's that easy, but let's figure it out. Also, some of these questions I think may have been in the most recent video. So if you didn't watch it, then you're at a disadvantage. Question number 1. Which country won the very first FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991? 1991. Surprisingly, finally, a question with the year before I was born. Nice. Doesn't make me feel as old anymore. Alright, as you're thinking about this question, a reminder, there will be hints every once in a while. If you answer after the hint, you get half the points. Sometimes I'll give 2 hints, and then you'll only get 0.25 points. So try to answer before the hints, because then the math gets a little too much. Having to add 0.5 and 0.25. Alright, which country won the very first FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991? The answer is the United States of America. And it was held in China. And US beat Norway 2-1. And this is when they started to basically dominate women's sports. I think they still dominate. I could be wrong. Apparently they also dominate in hockey. As a Canadian, my heart. Question number 2. Which club is known as the Old Lady? Now, I like this quiz today because the second quiz, actually these 2 questions are pretty difficult. They're supposed to be easy questions, but I mean, it depends on what you know, but for me, these are very difficult. Which club is known as the Old Lady? And a little bit of a hint. This has been used for over a century. So over 100 years they've had this nickname. So if you're thinking of a club that has just opened up or just was created recently-ish, it's not that one. Is that good enough of a hint? I don't know. This is the easy category. Oh, okay, I want to give another hint. So you're only going to get 0.25 if you answer after this one. The nickname is not in English. The actual name is La Vecchia Signora. La Vecchia Signora. Vecchia Signora. That's your hint. So it's not an English club. Alright, answers are locked. The question, which club is known as the Old Lady? The answer is Juventus FC. The most successful club in Italian football history. I'm guessing one of the oldest because it's over 100 years old. Can you imagine 100 years ago was 1926? Back in my day, 100 years ago would have been the 1800s. Whoa. Question number 3. Which country won the 2002 FIFA World Cup? Who won 2002 FIFA World Cup? I want to go through all the World Cups from memory. But that might spoil a future question. You know what? Who cares, right? So I know it was Argentina 2022, France 2018, Germany 2014, Spain 2010, Italy 2006, and then 2002. Which one is that? Ooh. Answers are locked. The country that won the 2002 FIFA World Cup was Brazil, who defeated Germany 2-0. They were both scored by Ronaldo. Not this one, the Brazilian one, the one with the good hair, that hairstyle. And it was Brazil's 5th and all-time leading title, World Cup title. Alright, question number 4. Which English club plays its home games at Anfield? The stadium, Anfield. Ooh, okay, I want to give some hints because this is actually kind of fun. They have been this team's stadium since 1892. That's older than the old lady Juventus. Surely this team should be called the Old Lady. And their famous anthem, You'll Never Walk Alone, is sung before every match. Now, if you've never heard that anthem, as a little hint, I'll sing it for you. So that way you get some extra hints, okay? It goes like this. You'll never walk alone, yeah. Never alone, yeah. I'll walk with you, yeah. I've never heard this song before, but I'm sure it goes something like that. Answers are locked. Question number 4. Which English club plays its home games at Anfield? The answer is Liverpool. Liverpool FC. I'm actually gonna probably search this song right afterwards because I don't know. I know there's one that goes, We're blowing bubbles. Is that West Ham? That one I like. That's cool. That one goes, We're blowing bubbles. Yeah, blowing bubbles. I'm with you, blowing bubbles. Anyway. It doesn't go like that. Question number 5. Which player has scored the most international goals in men's football history? International goals. So goals for their national team. I'm going to assume all games. So friendlies, tournaments, qualifiers, everything. Here's the hint. It says, this has broken multiple long-standing records and set a benchmark that may stand for decades. You know what? Yeah, why not? For a bonus point, tell me how many goals they have scored. No. Yes. To the nearest 10. So, in multiples of 10. So the answer could be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to, I don't know, 200, 300. As long as it's a multiple of 10. Alright, answers are locked. The player that scored the most international goals in men's football history is the better Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo, who has scored over 120 international goals for Portugal. Absolute legend. Alright, that was the easy category. They were pretty difficult. As we go on and do more of these trivia videos, I'm trying my best not to use the same sort of questions. It may happen because I'll forget. But for the most part, as we use one, it's not going to come back. So we need more questions, which could be more difficult questions. So the easy category may no longer be easy going forward. Now, this should still be. Question number 6. Which country won the 1998 FIFA World Cup? So we went through all of them. We know 2002 was Brazil, who won 1998. Okay, yeah, let's do this. The hint for this one is the player that scored. A player scored 2 goals in that match. And those 2 goals were headers with their head. Which team won? And for bonus points, who was that player? So 2 points up for grabs. See, I don't think most people get past 15 points today, so we're gonna add a little bit of bonus points for you guys. Who won the 1998 FIFA World Cup? Answers are locked. The country that won the 1998 FIFA World Cup was France. And they defeated Brazil 3-0, which is crazy. Brazil said, damn, we're coming back next World Cup, and we're winning. And they did. In the final, Zinedine Zidane scored 2 headers in that match. Zinedine Zidane. Question number 7. Speaking of a Frenchman, which club did Thierry Henry score the most goals for? Which club? So not France. That's a national team. Ooh, and give me the range for the amount of goals they scored within 5. No, within 10. Within 10. So for example, you could say 120 to 130, or 150 to 160, or 50 to 60, a range of 10. This player is regarded as the best player to have ever played at this club. So, wait, we already know. The player's name is Thierry Henry. Sorry, I was trying to make a hint without giving anything away. It's Thierry Henry. He's known as the best player for this club. So which one is it? Alright, answers are locked. The club that Thierry Henry scored the most goals for is the New York Red Bulls. I'm just kidding. It was Arsenal FC. One of my favorite teams growing up for sure. Except when I play FIFA, I said this before. Thierry Henry used to always score on me. I used to try and play on the hardest difficulty, and I just couldn't beat them. You make one mistake and he scores. It's like real life. And if you said from 220 to 230 goals, you get the point because he scored 228. Interesting. Alright, question number 8. Which country hosted UEFA Euro 2012? Which country hosted UEFA Euro 2012? So who hosted? Now here's the question. Can we figure that out? I don't remember entirely. That's the problem. Who did the most recent Euros in 20... Wait, what year is it now? It's 2026 now. It's the World Cup. That means in 2024 was the Euro Cup, which means it was held in... Oh man, if this was my own quiz, like if I was taking it, I would fail. When was the 2024 World Cup? Am I crazy? It was Qatar. I'm just kidding. It was oh no. Wait, who won? Oh, was it France? Wait, who won? Spain. Spain won in Euros, right? I don't know. Where was it? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, which country hosted Euro 2012? Here's a hint. It was the biggest margin of victory in that year's final. And I can tell you who played it. It was Spain, who beat Italy 4-0 in the final. And this was during the tiki-taka, the one of the greatest Spanish sides, arguably one of the greatest footballing sides of all time, who won 2008, 2010, and 2012. 2010 was the World Cup. Answers are locked. You will get a full bonus point if you said it was co-hosted and you said it was Poland and Ukraine. If you said only one of those, you get 0.5 points. And if you said nothing, if you said nothing as an answer, straight up nothing, I'll give you 0.25. But if you said, I don't know, no, I'm not giving it to you. But if I said which country hosted UEFA Euro 2012 and you said nothing, you get 0.2. Alright, question number 9. Which African nation reached the quarterfinals of the 1990 World Cup? Hell yeah. We're going old today. They were the first African team to reach the quarterfinals of a World Cup. And I will give you a hint. They narrowly lost to England in extra time. So I'm assuming in the round of 16, they went to extra time and they beat England. I feel like England does not have a good track record in extra time. Is that true? Or is that penalties? Sorry. Which African nation was the first to ever reach the quarterfinals of a World Cup? And this was in 1990. Answers are locked. The answer is Cameroon. Cameroon. Where Eto'o, right? Samuel Eto'o is from. I believe so. A great player. I used to like Eto'o a lot. Alright, question number 10, and the last question of the medium category, and at this point it's going to be halfway through the quiz. Which club won the UEFA Champions League in 2012? The UEFA Champions League in 2012. This is the tournament where all the best European teams compete, not national teams, club teams. And, should I say this? Should I say this? Yes. I'll tell you, it was their first Champions League title. 2012. So, part of that hint will tell you it's not Real Madrid, because they have won a lot. It's also not AC Milan, because they have won a decent amount as well. I think a lot too. So which club won their first Champions League in 2012? And then for 0.25 points, it may not even help you that much. This team defeated Bayern Munich on penalties. And this was in Bayern Munich's own stadium. Also, just a side note, it really sucks to support a team that goes all the way to a final and loses. I've experienced that twice this year with the Blue Jays, baseball, and Canadian Olympics. Well, 3 times if you count the women's team. Did the women's go to the final? Anyway, what was I saying? Which club won the UEFA Champions League in 2012? The answer is Chelsea. Chelsea. I believe, is this the one where's the one with Drogba and Fernando Torres? I think they beat Barcelona though. not Bayern Munich. So this was probably the one before that then. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a future quiz or future question. Alright, now in the hard category, question number 11. Which player scored the most goals at the 2014 FIFA World Cup? One of the best World Cups, I think so. That and 2010. Which player scored the most goals at the 2014 FIFA World Cup? And a bonus point if you can tell me exactly how many goals they scored. We're not going to do a range because it's not going to be like 50. You know, they only play a certain amount of games. For a hint, he did win the Golden Boot. That doesn't really tell you much because the person who scores the most goals gets the Golden Boot. But one of their goals is considered one of the greatest World Cup goals ever. And I agree. It was very nice. It was very nice to watch as someone who is not particularly a fan of this nation because it's not Portugal. So there's your hint. It's not a Portuguese player. It's not going to be Ronaldo. It's not going to be anyone like that. Which player scored the most goals at the 2014 FIFA World Cup? Answers are locked. The answer is, you know what? No, for 0.25 points, here's an extra hint. They are Colombian. 3, 2, 1. Answers are locked. The answer is James Rodriguez. James Rodriguez, who was then bought by Real Madrid, and then he disappeared. And for a bonus point, if you said he scored 6 goals, you get the point. If you said 5 or 7, you don't get nothing. Alright, question number 12. Which club went unbeaten in Serie A during the 2011-2012 season? So Serie A is the Italian league. So it's an Italian team. Which Italian team went unbeaten in Serie A during the 2011-2012 season? They went 38 matches unbeaten. Right? Which means there are some ties in there as well. I don't know how many ties they got. But I've yet to see a team win every single game for a whole season or for like a whole calendar year. That would be incredible. 38 matches where they did not lose. And if this helps, this might help. Their manager was Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte, which you may remember from being a Chelsea manager. But where was he before? Ooh. Answers are locked. The club that went unbeaten in Serie A during the 2011-2012 season was Juventus. Juventus, the old lady. Juve went 38 matches unbeaten under the management of Antonio Conte. Alright, question number 13. Which country won the inaugural, which means the very, very first, Copa America in 1916? Copa America is the tournament for national teams of South America, which is also the one Messi won recently-ish, kind of, I think. So this was in 1916, though, so Messi wasn't born then. And here's a bonus hint. They won the first edition. Wait, what? What am I saying? They won and they hosted the tournament. So they were the hosts and they won. This was in 1916. 5 points, I'm going to say, think about the year and how far back this was. And then think about the World Cup. And that's all I'm going to say. If you rack your brains from previous videos, this is one of the most common trivia questions. Not this one specifically, but the answer of a very common one is possibly the answer for this one. Alright, answers are locked. The country that won the very first Copa America in 1916 is the same one that won the very first FIFA World Cup, I think in 1930 something. And that team is Uruguay. So I guess they were just a really good team back then. If they won Copa America and World Cup. Even though I think that might be like 15 years difference. That just shows that they stay consistent, you know. They're still a good team now. Alright, question number 14. Which player scored the famous Panenka penalty in the Euro 1976 final? That's interesting. So, I've always known of the Panenka. And I don't know if people call it different things. But if you want to know, let me give you a great demonstration with my fingers as little stick figures. So this is the guy. Here's the ball. This is the net with the goalie. So when the player runs to kick the ball, usually you kick it with all your force and the goalie dives, right? So when this player went to score, they kicked the ball. Well, they chipped the ball very lightly. So it starts moving. The goalie's like, oh no, I gotta save it. Dives. Or dives this way. And the ball just chips lightly. It just goes down the middle of the net. The fact that they did this in the final of a tournament is kind of crazy. Another hint is they did it against West Germany. And they played for Czechoslovakia. And I need their full name, please. Actually, you know what? Full name and 0.5 points for their last name. Okay. Answers are locked. The player that scored the famous Panenka penalty in the Euro 1976 final is Antonin Panenka. So if you said Panenka scored it, you get 0.5 points. If you said Antonin Panenka, you get the full points. Okay. Kind of a gimme. But I would have never thought that the Panenka was named after someone named Panenka. But that makes sense. Alright, question number 15. Last question in the hard category before we go to the very hard category. Which club won the Bundesliga, the German top league, for the first time in their history in the 2023-2024 season? So a couple of seasons ago. So not that old. Now, here's a hint. That's not really a hint. It's not Bayern Munich. We know Bayern Munich wins a lot. In fact, they won 11 years unbeaten. Well, not unbeaten, but in terms of titles, they've won the title 11 years prior to this. And this team stopped that dominance. Which team was it? Okay, now for 0.25 points, the additional hint is it's not Borussia Dortmund either. That league, the most famous in my opinion, teams and the best teams are usually Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. But this team was neither of those. Question number 15. Answers are locked. Which club won the Bundesliga for the first time in their history in the 2023-2024 season? The answers are locked. The answer is Bayer Leverkusen. I want to say 04. It's technically Bayern 04 Leverkusen. but a lot of people just say Bayer Leverkusen. That is the team that has won the Bundesliga for the first time. So congrats to them. I did not know that was the case. Alright, we are in the very hard category now with question number 16. Have you gotten a full 15? If you did, then you have already beaten my expectations. But if you're not, there's still some questions here that you can get some points. So here we go. Question number 16. Which goalkeeper conceded only 2 goals at the 1994 World Cup and won the Golden Glove, which is the award for the best goalkeeper? Which goalkeeper conceded only 2 goals at the 1994 World Cup? Also, I did not know this, but Lev Yashin, the greatest goalie of all time, the only goalie to win a Ballon d'Or, which is the award for the best player of that year. The Golden Glove Award is named after him as the Yashin Award. I did not know that. That's really cool. Oh, this is interesting. I did not know this either. So here's a hint. This goalkeeper won the award even though their team was eliminated in the round of 16. So they didn't even make it to the end. And they won the Golden Glove and only gave up 2 goals. That's 4 games. That's not an achievement. I'm just kidding. Regardless, 1994, they won the Golden Glove. Fair enough. And for 0.25 points, they are Belgian, if that helps. They are a Belgian player. Belgian goalkeeper. Answers are locked. The goalkeeper that conceded only 2 goals at the 1994 World Cup and won the Golden Glove is Michel Prudhomme. Michel Prudhomme. Preud''Homme. I did not know that. Question number 17. Which country won the 1966 World Cup final after extra time? See, I told you there's a point that you can get easily. There are some of you watching this right now that will know this. And will know this well. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Ooh, you know what I'm gonna say as the hint? Previously we talked about only 2 players. I mistakenly said 1. There's only 2 players in history that has scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final. One of them was Mbappe in 2022, I believe. The other was in this tournament, 1966. And that player's name is Geoff Hurst. That's all I'm gonna say. Who does Geoff Hurst play for? I don't know. That's for you to figure out. Alright, answers are locked. The country that won the 1966 World Cup final after extra time is England. 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 What do they say? Bring it home. Bring it back. This is our home. It's coming home. It's coming home. Something like that. It came home in 1966 when they beat West Germany 4-2 in extra time. Geoff Hurst scored the first ever hat-trick in a World Cup final. Alright, question number 18. Which club won the 2004 UEFA Champions League final? So who won the 2004 UEFA Champions League? One of the greatest Champions League finals of all time. A hint is this team made a huge upset. Huge upset. They were not expected to win. And the fact that they did win is another reason why people call this manager the great one, the chosen one, the great one. Oh, I got it wrong last time I said it. It's one of those. So which team did that coach manage? And it was in 2004. Answers are locked. The team, or the club, that won the 2004 UEFA Champions League final, and it was coached by Jose Mourinho, and who beat Monaco 3-0 in a major European upset. FC Porto. FC Porto. Portugal. 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 That was the same year Portugal went to the Euro Cup final and lost. One win, one loss. We'll take it. Question number 19. Which player won the Ballon d'Or in 1995, becoming the first African winner? Now, if you watched previous videos, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. The answer can be found in one of those videos. So pause the video, go watch every single one, and then come back. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? Okay, I'll give you 0.5 points after this hint, even though it probably should be 0.25. This player later went on to become the president of Liberia. That should give it away if you already know. The president of Liberia, who won the Ballon d'Or in 1995 and became the first African player to do so. Answers are locked. The answer is George Weah. George Weah. George Weah. Alright, last question. And this is a tough one. Which country won the 1934 FIFA World Cup? That's it. Go back 92 years and then come back here and tell me who won the FIFA World Cup in 1934. A lot of these questions are, when did this team win the World Cup? Or what team won on this year? Surely, if we don't repeat questions, we're going to run out of World Cup questions, like years. So eventually, you're going to go through every single year. Which country won the 1934 FIFA World Cup? They beat Czechoslovakia 2-1 in extra time. Well, it says after extra time, so possibly penalties. No, 2-1, because it's not golden goal, 2-1. And then they won. Okay, gotcha. For 0.5 points, this team also hosted the tournament. Interesting. Uruguay hosted and won the Copa America. Italy hosted and won the World Cup. Did all the teams that host win back then? Alright, answers are locked. The team that won the 1934 FIFA World Cup was Italy. Italy. It was Italia. Alright, did you get 15 out of 20? I hope you did. If not, don't worry. You know how this goes. Bonus question time. There's going to be one bonus question today, and only 1 point that you can get. Okay, today's bonus question is, in the 2010 FIFA World Cup final, we all know, as we should know, Andres Iniesta scored the winning goal. And we usually remember the one who scores. But who passed it to him? Who assisted the game-winning goal? Let me know. That is your question. Who assisted Andres Iniesta's winning goal in the 2010 World Cup final? Was it Lionel Messi, off the bench from Argentina? This was against Netherlands. It was in extra time. And your hint is they came off the bench. So this is not someone that started the game. So here's a hint. It's probably not Xavi or Busquets or Jordi Alba or Sergio Ramos or David Villa probably was a striker, or Pedro or David Silva. Someone who came off the bench. Answers are locked. The player that provided the assist for the game-winning goal for the 2010 FIFA World Cup that was scored by Andres Iniesta was Cesc Fabregas. Cesc Fabregas. One of my favorite players. That's why I loved Arsenal so much. Fabregas and Thierry Henry. The keys to my heart. Alright, the quiz is done. Thank you all for joining me on another video. How well did you do? Did you get more than 15? I hope you did. If not, there's always time to improve and do well in the next trivia video. But for now, make sure to take care of yourself, love one another, take care of each other, and most importantly, leave a like, subscribe, and all that stuff. But most importantly, have a great rest and a great sleep.